Hey everyone, on today's Random Contractor website audit, I'm actually running through a random contractor down in Houston. They are a pond company and it's quite a unique website in itself. I've never seen one like it. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Logan Shinholster and we're gonna be going over a random pond company in Houston, Texas's website. All right, I have no idea what it's gonna look like, but we're about to find out if it passes all 5 aspects that a website needs to have, which is great first impression, easy to use, personalized to the end consumer, the show me factor, and last but not least, best website practices. Let's go ahead, let's check it out. The first one is pond digging services. I probably don't want to go with that one. Let's try Coral Bay Waterscapes, photos of ponds, fountains. All right, cool, let's see what we got. All right, so, cool. Initial first reaction. Let's go through it. So this is unbelievably important to have a good first reaction because what we want to do is we want to feel like we're in the right place. Okay? When you give a prospect a bad first impression, it's the same thing as getting out of your truck, a beat up truck that looks terrible. You hawk a loogie when you get out of the truck and then you meet them for an estimate. And that is your first impression. It's no different than your website. Okay, you got to remember that your website is where people are actually going to seek out more information about you and hire you. So if you treat your website like crap, then it's going to be very tough to convert anybody from a browser into a buyer online, which is realistically why a lot of contractors, what they do is they go, well, I don't need a website, or I don't really see my website that much, but my truck wrap needs to look good because I'm going to be sitting in that thing every day. But in reality, when you drive around in your truck and you have a nice wrap on it, you're just in your area, right? And I'm sure you get calls off of it, which is great, but your website is specifically being found by people that are actively seeking you out. So keep that in mind. So from an initial perspective, it's crazy. I like it though, because it just got a lot of pictures, right? Which is great because it just shows what they're all about. Like it's pretty obvious. So let's see what it says. I don't necessarily like, if you noticed before, I kept scrolling through because it's overwhelming. But this is a pretty unique setup to this site. See step-by-step photos. Let's see what we got. Steps in building a pond. Pond began with just some simple plans drawn on notebook paper. When designing something that will grow and evolve over many years, this simple step is crucial. Once it's laid out, where to put a pond before digging, skimmers, okay. So, very interesting website. One that I've never seen one quite like this before. And let me tell you my thoughts on it. Some of the stuff is there, right? So as far as, let me just go back. Initial gut reaction, I'm okay with it, right? We have the ones that we do and it goes more in depth. It's laid out nicer. It gives you more credibility of, who we've worked with before, because when people see stuff like, oh, National Wildlife Federation or an animal hospital or a college as the credentials, people, they're down with that. They like it. It helps them go, okay, I trust this company even more. Over here, your real backing is a little bit BBB, but some homeowners know that BBB is really just a bunch of, it's a scam at the end of the day, really. And if you know that, then you understand it. But if not, then it does provide some credibility. But all these pictures, this helps. But we don't know if, they're good at exactly what they do. They have good reviews, yes or no. I don't know because it doesn't show it. So that's one thing that I would 100% update about this. But it's unique from an initial gut perspective. So let's go ahead. Let's just go back to the before and after photos because the website needs to be very simple to use, which this one, you've only got really 2 navigation items at the top, home or contact us, and that's really it. So very unique. Oh, I neglect, okay. So that was see before and after photos. See step-by-step photos, nothing. See before and after photos. See before and after photos, see step-by-step photo. So these, I would make those, before and after photos are good because it shows that you can do your work. But to have them sliding, it doesn't I thought that this was all the same button. But in reality, those two buttons are serving different functions. One's saying, here's how we build a pond, and the other one's saying, here's examples or case studies or pictures that show we know what we're talking about. So I would have actually separated those out and had them either side by side, so it's obvious that it's not the same photos or the same option of buttons over and over again. All right. So interesting that they had that as a slider. They could have very well just had that on the page somewhere else. It's a very bare website, but again, it's, it looks like it's homemade. Okay. So as far as ease of use, it's a pretty simple website to navigate because there's only really one or two buttons. I would add a button on here that just talks about how do you get to the next step, to the contact us form, because that's really what we want. Oh, call us for an estimate or send an email. We'd love to find the right water. Landscaping for your home or business. Interesting. All right. So the next thing that we want to go into is personalization. So we have initial gut reaction is okay. Ease of use is okay, again, because there's really only a couple things you can do on this website. The next thing is going to be personalization. How personalized to the end user does this feel? So I really think that before and after photos are going to tell that story. Customer called for help with her pond. The liner was torn. The interior was shaped all wrong. There was no filtration system and no real skimmer in place. This pond needed serious help to bring this pond back to life. We had to pull up all the flagstone around the edge so we could remove the old liner, which was a heavy job all by itself. Then, along with rebuilding the waterfall area, we reshaped the pond's interior and included a planting shelf. All new equipment was added to complete the project, and she loves it once again. I like that it talks about what we actually do, but at the end of the day, it's not enough pain. A customer called for help with her existing pond. The liner was torn, it was shaped wrong, there's no filtration system, and no skimmer in place. Okay, so that sentence is right there. What is the downside? So when the liner is torn, it leaks everywhere. So let's talk about it. The liner was torn, meaning the pond was leaking all over the place. The interior was shaped all wrong. What does that mean? There was no filtration system and no real skimmer in place. So that's your, the filtration skimmer. What happens if you don't have a filter on your website? On your pond? Mosquitoes. It's gonna always turn green because of algae. I mean, talk about that. So when you talk about those problems, because a lot of people, they don't know that there's no filtration system or no real skimmer in place, or that it's shaped wrong. They just know the symptoms of it. Talk about that. That's your personalization side of things, all right? Next thing you want to look at is the show me factor. They do a good job at show me. I like the before and after. This step-by-step walkthrough is pretty interesting. The only problem with this step-by-step walkthrough is that it shows you how to build a pond, which I love, but it automatically assumes that you want a pond built. There's no convincing you that a pond needs to be built. And I've built websites for a couple people in the past that say things like, well, once they're already on the website, they don't need to be sold. They're already done. They're already convinced that they want this. I just need to tell them how to make it happen, when that's not actually true. How many times have you gone onto a car website or a restaurant or whatever it is on their website and not moved forward with buying? It's because you weren't convinced that you needed a car at this time. So if all they said was, hey, it looks like you're looking at this car, this is how you get started. Instead of, hey, these are the great features of the car, here's what it'll do for you, here's the sex appeal aspect of it, you still need that. You need that show me factor. So that's gonna be big, but I do like how they show this. I mean, it's pretty obvious of how it all works. It really, alleviates the unknown. Like, you know what's going on. So interesting on that one. For us, how do we do it? We guide you through the whole process. I have a pond. Okay, great. You have a pond. How do you want us to help? Well, let's go through, I need my pond needs to be fixed. Okay? And now it talks common outcomes. Right? Remember how we talked about the personalization? Repair it so you can enjoy it with friends and family, transform it into a low maintenance pondless water feature, create your new favorite design. So it's just, those are the side effects of what we want. We want it to be low maintenance, or we want it to be enjoyed by your friends and family again, not just the intrinsic value of fixing it, because not everybody knows how to fix it. So that's kind of how we do it. We show a little bit of our own social proof, kind of how they break it down. And they say, this is how we do it. Ours is more before and afters with a renovation, because not everybody wants the in-depth version of it. They just want to know, how's it happen? All right, and last but not least is best website practices. This actually does not have the greatest website practices because here are some of the common things that you absolutely need, and this will kill people from turning into an actual lead if you don't have it there. 1, logo on the top left. This has a logo across the whole top. It's a bit overdone. 2, a button in the top right to get started, get a quote, get a consultation. They have a contact us, but it doesn't really stand out. Look at the difference. This one stands out. This one, not so much. So it's not super obvious that they want you to contact them. A couple other things. As you come down, best website practices, you would show these before and after photos or these as different segments as you scroll down the page. Right, so with us, we have different options that they can choose. Cleaning, repair, new koi pond construction, which, just so you know, these buttons eventually lead there, right? Remember how we looked at one that was all about repair and renovation? Well, there's also a page button right here that takes you to the exact same spot. So it's not like it's totally different. We're just positioning it a different way. So if people don't want to jump on in to the homepage buttons, they can do it down there. These two buttons, they can go down the page and find it. So by following those website best practices, it will make sure that people don't have anxiety. Right? They don't come to this website and they think contact us is going to have a form on it, but it doesn't. Because if they're used to filling out a form online, which most people are these days, you want to give the people what they want. Otherwise, they go, well, where's the form? Maybe I won't contact them. All right. So in this case, we've got the different ways that you can contact them, but the information is different. I'm sorry, you have a form there. So that's really what we want. That's what we want to go for. So in a nutshell, it's a very unique website. It looks like it's a very small operation between a husband and wife. There's just a lot more they could add to it to really beef it all up. But if all they want to do is stay as a small operation, they're doing okay. So there you go. There's your website review. And I hope all that makes sense. This was a very unique website in itself. Thanks.